My parents are forcing me to get married to my best friend I grew up with, Ethan, the son of my parents. Closest friends from kindergarten to high school, we were inseparable. But when we turned 16, things changed. Ethan started hanging out with a different crowd and I focused on my studies. We drifted apart, but our families never let go of the idea that we were meant to be. By the time I was 25, I was engaged to someone I truly loved, and Ethan was dating a girl named Kayla. Yet at every family event, our parents would joke about us getting married, pulling out old photos, and reminiscing about our childhood. It was awkward but harmless until last Thanksgiving. Ethan's mom stood up during dinner and made a toast to our future wedding. I laughed it off, but see, didn't she? Stormed out. Later, Ethan called me furious. "This needs to stop," he said. I agreed, but then things got worse. A week before Ethan and Kayla's engagement party, my mom called, saying Kayla had broken things off, blaming me for ruining their relationship. I tried calling Ethan, but his number was disconnected last night. I got an email. It was a wedding invite. My name was listed as the bride. I never imagined my life would start to unravel over a joke that my parents kept repeating until it became real. I grew up with Ethan, the son of my parents' closest friends. From the moment we could walk, we were paired together. Summer camps, birthday parties, family vacations. People called us the Golden Duo. We shared everything: crayons, inside jokes, even a sandbox kiss when we were 5 that our parents still laughed about every Thanksgiving. But childhood isn't forever. When we turned 16, Ethan drifted. He started hanging out with older kids, football types, party types. I stayed the quiet one, nose buried in books, dreaming of college and a future beyond small-town whispers. By graduation, we were strangers, but our families never got the memo. To them, we were still soulmates in training. Every family dinner came with jokes about our inevitable wedding, and every holiday brought out photo albums filled with us in matching overalls, eating popsicles on the porch. I rolled my eyes. Ethan laughed politely. Then life happened. I fell in love, really in love, at 25. I was engaged to Daniel, a kind, grounded man who saw me, not the little girl from a shared family fantasy, but the woman I'd become. Ethan was dating to a beautiful, spirited woman named Kayla. They looked happy, in love. They even talked about moving in together. But none of that mattered to our families. Then came last Thanksgiving. The table was set, pumpkin pie in the oven, cousins arguing over football. And then Ethan's mom stood up, glass in hand. "I just want to say," she began, teary-eyed, "how thankful we are that after all these years, our kids are finally finding their way back to each other. To Ethan and me, may this be the year of your wedding." The room burst into forced laughter, except for 2 people, me and Kayla. She stood up, stared at me, then turned and walked out the door without saying a word. That night, Ethan called me, his voice shaking. "What the hell was that?" "I didn't know she was going to say that, Ethan." "Huh, I'm sorry. She thinks I've been lying to her, that I've been hiding feelings for you. And have you?" Silence. "Then this has to stop." I agreed. We both needed to set boundaries, talk to our parents, make it clear the fantasy was dead. But life doesn't listen to logic. A week before Ethan and Kayla's engagement party, I got a call from my mom. "She's gone," she said. "Who's gone, Kayla?" "She broke things off. Apparently, she thinks you're the reason." I froze. My world tilted. I haven't even spoken to him. "Oh." She said he's been distant, conflicted. She found some emails. I tried to call Ethan. His number disconnected. His social media wiped. It was like he vanished. Then, last night, an email. The subject line, "Save the date. Ethan and your name." I clicked. It was a wedding invitation. A real one, my name printed in gold. As the bride, I thought it was a prank, some twisted joke. I called my mom. "Oh honey, we didn't want to ruin the surprise." His parents said it would be easier this way. You and Ethan were always meant to be. Meant to be. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I wasn't engaged anymore. Daniel had ended things a month ago, after growing tired of feeling like he was competing with a ghost. And now? That ghost was wearing a tuxedo. I don't know what Ethan's thinking, or if he's even behind this. Maybe he caved to pressure. Maybe he's lost in the same fog of guilt, expectation, and nostalgia I'm trapped in. But this wedding? This lie? It's not happening. Not like this. I'm packing my bags, leaving town. Because no matter how many photos they pull out, how many stories they tell, or how many wedding invites they print, I will not marry someone just because our parents are stuck in the past. Story 2. I met Clara when we were both young, full of dreams and promise. She was beautiful, ambitious, and had a smile that could light up any room. We married after 3 years of dating, and I truly believed our love would last a lifetime. We were the perfect couple, or, at least, that's what I thought. But as the years passed, Clara began to change. She became distant, spending late nights out with friends or working longer hours at the office. When I asked her about it, she'd laugh it off, saying she just needed space to clear her head. At first, I trusted her completely. Why wouldn't I? We had been together so long, and I couldn't imagine her betraying me. Yet doubt began to creep in, gnawing away at my confidence. It all began one fateful night. Clara said she had to go to a work party. I wasn't worried this wasn't the first time, but something about the way she hurried out. Her phone clutched tightly in her hand struck me as odd. Clara always shared details about her colleagues and events, but this time she was unusually vague. My gut told me something was wrong. She returned home well past midnight with a faint smell of cologne on her clothes that certainly wasn't mine. I asked her about the evening, and she brushed me off again, claiming she'd been talking with her coworkers, mostly one named Leo, whom I'd never heard of before. The next few weeks followed a similar pattern: late-night work gatherings, secretive texts, and more mentions of Leo. My instincts screamed betrayal, but I wasn't the type to confront without proof. So I decided to be patient, gather evidence, and pretend I didn't notice the lies piling up between us. One weekend, Clara told me she was going to a party not work-related, just a casual get-together with friends. She reassured me it was nothing to worry about. I feigned indifference, but that night, as she left dressed in her finest, I started planning. I needed to know the truth. I planted a GPS tracker on her phone, something I never thought I'd do. But suspicion had eaten away at me long enough. The party wasn't at the usual spots her friends frequented. It was a small, unfamiliar neighborhood across town. I waited until around 11 p.m., then drove to the location, parking far away to avoid suspicion, but close enough to observe. To my dismay, I watched as she stepped out of a house with Leo. It wasn't the sight of her with him that shattered MIT. Was the way she looked at him, full of desire, the way she once looked at me. I saw them laugh, touch, and eventually head back into the house together. My heart clenched, but my mind was clear. Now she was cheating, without a doubt. Instead of confronting her that night, I went home seething with cold fury. I needed time to process and to plan my next move. If I wanted revenge, I would make sure it was perfect. Over the next days, I distanced myself from Clara, all while pretending everything was fine. The more she believed I was oblivious, the easier my plan would be to execute. The steps of revenge. Step 1. I found out where Leo worked, an up-and-coming financial firm downtown. He was climbing the ladder fast, lauded for his clean image and sharp mind. That would work in my favor. Step 2. I laid the groundwork for Clara's downfall. We had a joint savings account money set aside for a house we'd planned to buy one day. I discreetly transferred my half into an account under my name. I wasn't about to be left empty-handed if things went south. Step 3. I gathered evidence: photos of Clara with Leo, suspicious texts, even a recording of one of their late-night calls. By the time I finished, I had enough ammunition to destroy both their lives. Step 4. I waited for the perfect moment. That came when Clara told me she was going to another work event, another rendezvous with Leo. I already knew. I kissed her goodbye. She left, smiling without a care in the world. Little did she know, her betrayal was about to blow up in her face. The fallout that night. I sent an anonymous tip to Leo's employer with the evidence I'd collected. Leo's firm was extremely strict about conducting an affair with a married woman would surely be frowned upon. While Clara and Leo were out, his boss received the damning evidence. By morning, Leo faced an internal investigation. His career was likely finished. Still, I wasn't done. The next morning, while Clara slept, I visited a lawyer. Divorce papers were drawn up, along with documentation of her infidelity, ensuring she'd get none of our savings in the settlement. When I returned, I placed the papers and evidence on the kitchen table, then packed my bags and left. I didn't respond to her frantic calls. By the time she realized what was happening, it was too late. A few weeks later, the divorce was finalized. Through mutual acquaintances, I learned that Leo had been fired, his promising career in tatters. Clara moved out. Now bitter and alone, she had lost everything: her husband, her stability, and her lover's respectability. Reflection. But as the dust settled, something unexpected happened. I began to reflect on my actions. Although my revenge had been cold, calculated, and satisfying for a moment, it left me hollow. Was this what I truly wanted? I had punished them, but was left with the broken pieces of my own heart. No amount of revenge could undo the betrayal that was the hardest truth to swallow. In hindsight, I realized revenge doesn't heal. It just leaves you with new scars.